Nah, Bird was a.
ADB, play that shit.
Who you think you playing with? I won't show my hand, bitch. Niggas hate man, envy me, and I can't stand it.
Hey man, say man, what's good YouTube? It's your boy Quizzo, aka Quiz the Plug, man. I'm back here with another banger, man. We got some more Larry Bird. This time we got Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, the Courtship Rivals. This is like my most requested video in a minute, so y'all been requesting video, let's get into it. We're gonna turn this video into like 2 to 3 parts, cause this video like an hour long, so we're not gonna be sitting here for an hour every video. Can't do it, so we can cut it into like 30-minute parts, man. Before we get into it, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, man. Follow all my social in the description down below. And you're finna see what this Bird and Magic rivalry was really like, bro. Cause I won't hear their experiences, so this is my only way to really know how it was. Let's get into it. Let's see.
They talk about it every day, somewhere. If I go to a foreign country, magic, where's magic? It's the same everywhere.
Where's Magic? Asking Bird that is crazy. Damn, we finna. In this video, gonna dig deep. We getting into their childhood, high school, college. Okay, this is a real documentary. Okay.
We don't have to see each other. We don't have to say hello. We don't have to call each other.
That's my main competition. It's always been like that.
You know you got this tight bond with this cat, and you don't have to see him for a year or two. But you're always gonna be linked to him.
That is facts though, bro. Bird and Magic, bro. Every time you bring up Bird, somebody gonna bring up Magic. Every time you bring up Magic, somebody gonna bring up Bird. They is forever linked to each other, bro. I mean, that's how it is. That rivalry was that great.
We got this connection, it's never gonna be broken. I mean, right to our graves. They'll be talking about this 100 years from now.
Facts. I can already tell this is gonna be well put together, bro. Whoever made this, shout out to you, bro. Subscribe to bro.
It all began here in Salt Lake City, Utah, on the night of March 26, 1979. It was the NCAA championship, Indiana State versus Michigan State, a game that still ranks as the highest rated college final ever on television. A game that's now remembered as a prologue to a rivalry that transformed a sport.
The fact that this still like the greatest sports game ever in terms of ratings is crazy. This was like what, 1978, 79? That's crazy.
Intertwined two legacies. But on that night, March 26, 1979,
79.
the first time Magic Johnson and Larry Bird ever went head-to-head on a basketball court. They were simply two young men trying to win a very big ball game.
This is probably the biggest game I'll ever play in my life, and I just feel like, you know, I'm representing not only myself, my team, but we're representing our school and our town of Terre Haute.
Well, it's a dream come true, really, for me. I won the state title back in my home state, and then my next accomplishment was going to the NCAA and playing in a game like tonight in the finals.
Bro, Magic and Bird didn't look the same their whole career, bro. Like, I cannot see the difference.
They were two stars thrown together by the cosmos to compete. But only one of them had been groomed for the spotlight. In his case, it seemed since birth.
I think his upbringing in East Lansing really put that smile on his face in the beginning, and it never came off.
Born August 14th, 1959, Irvin Johnson grew up in Lansing, the gritty industrial capital city of Michigan. Raised under this little roof, he was one of Christine and Irvin Johnson Sr.'s 10 kids.
Magic was just like his mom. That's crazy.
Christine was a school custodian, while Irvin Sr. worked 2 jobs nearly around the clock.
My father, he got up early every morning, 6 o'clock or so, and he went to work on his trash hauling truck every single day. Around noon, he would come home, catch a nap, and then he worked for General Motors for 30 years. And he won an award for never being late and never...
As a youngster, Irvin
That's
displayed
crazy.
his own strong work ethic on the blacktop.
I was out there all day long.
And my bad, y'all hear me keep sniffing and doing, like, cause bro, I'm kind of sick, so that's why y'all keep hearing me like doing that and shit. Like, it's cause I'm sick. My bad.
Before we went, I was out there all day long. Before we went to school, bus leave at 7:30. I was out there at 6:30 working on my game. My mother sometimes had to bring me.
That's
food,
crazy.
Or she would have one of my brothers and sisters go get that boy so he could eat something.
Man, I wish I had that work ethic, bro. When I was hooping, when I was young, bro. Like, I love basketball, but I ain't had that type of work ethic before school. Like, I ain't had that type of work ethic, bro. I had love for the game, but that's crazy. That's crazy passion, bro.
From a very young age, Irvin knew what he wanted to do. He had it all planned out.
My dreams were to play in the NBA and become a businessman.
The first neighborhood basketball powerhouse, Sexton High.
I knew the players, I knew the tradition. I wanted to be a part of that. And it was on the west side of town, which was at that time predominantly black.
But when Lansing, like many cities in the mid-70s, began busing to desegregated school system, Irvin's journey took an unexpected detour to a predominantly white school across town.
My first day at Everett High School was my first time I really had to understand there was a race problem. Nobody white would speak to anybody black, and nobody black would speak to anybody white.
A lot of it.
Man, I couldn't imagine growing up back then having to do with race, bro. Like, bro, salute to everybody back then, bro, because y'all paved the way for us, bro. Like, you don't think about how good we got it nowadays, bro. Like, the fact y'all really had to go through that, it's crazy.
A lot of fights, rioting. They didn't want minorities there.
Had
Kinda
that
shrugged
Jackson
it off,
5
and
for
basically his attitude was, okay, well, I'll overcome this.
Whenever there was any racial problems, the principal would get Irvin and go talk to these kids. I can just see him with his big hands. Calm down, just calm down. He'd break up fights.
Talk with his friends, tell him, let it go. We can't fight about everything. Let's just chill. Let's play basketball.
And there was no dispute over Irvin Johnson's ability to play ball. His talent was so great that soon after his varsity debut, a local reporter, dazzled by his exploits, gave the budding star a nickname.
In the beginning, I thought it was foolish and dumb. I didn't know nothing.
Oh yeah, Magic probably got the best nickname ever, bro. Like, the fact that they niggas call you Magic, bro, that's just tough, bro. Like, you can't beat that.
In the beginning, I thought it, I didn't know nothing about a nickname. Then what happened was, you start saying, wait a minute, it fits my game. Hanging out with my boys on the street corners, we used to sing Temptation songs. They started saying, hey man, Magic, that's cool. And then people on the street start saying, hey Magic. And I said,
He bought into it, and I think he felt he had to kind of live up to that name.
Bro, Magic should have kept that fro, bro. If he would have played the NBA with that Jackson 5 fro, that Julius Erving type fro, that would have been tough.
And I must say that he did.
He loved it. The more attention he got, he wanted attention from anybody he could get it from.
Yeah, it does. I really love the game, and I just want to win.
Hey.
Gets it over and back, and he jams it through. Irvin Johnson.
Irvin loved to dress. Nice sandal pants and overcoats with the fur around the collar. Always had to have his afro blown out. He had to look the part, play the part.
Irvin was the first guy to have a posse. He not only had a posse of a lot of black kids, he had a lot of white kids and hanging around him.
Some of my white friends were like, hey man, we're having a kegger tonight, won't you come on by? And I said, what's a kegger? So he said, well, what it is, we get this big keg of beer and you just go for it. Okay, well what time does the kegger start? Because regular party time in our neighborhood is 10, 11 o'clock. The kegger starts at 7. I said, the party starts at 7 o'clock? I said, okay, man, I'm going to come to the kegger. We had a good time. The music was kind of bad, but we had a good time.
His senior year, Johnson did at Everett what he had planned to do at Sexton, win the state championship. And when it came to choosing a college, he decided to stay where the love would be assured, home in Lansing.
Next year, I will be attending Michigan State University.
Hey, at least he stayed home, bro. I like that.
At MSU, Magic's star quickly went national. But atop the college game, he soon discovered a certain presence beside him.
The first time I saw Larry Bird was actually in a magazine. Saw his stats, blown away by his stats. But let's see if he can really do it against us. And that's always a mindset of black players if he's a great white player.
That's
In
facts.
1978, after his freshman year, Magic would quickly find out when both he and Bird were chosen to play for Team USA in the World Invitational Tournament.
They would put Larry Bird and I on the same team together to scrimmage, right? It was blowing my mind because he's dominating Jack Givens, player of the year in college basketball. Larry Bird is eating him alive. I couldn't wait to call home to
Hey, this is some crazy footage, bro. I've never seen this. I didn't even knew about this.
tell my boys, man, this dude named Larry Bird is for real. This is the baddest white dude I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I thought he was very good. There's no question about it. I thought he's probably the best guard on the team.
Irvin Johnson, look at that
Pass, bro.
We didn't get to play a lot, but you could tell.
I think our first game was in Kentucky. We got about a 10, 12-point lead. And they put us in. Went to 25, 30, just that fast.
fast break again, 3-on-2.
Knew them boys was destined for greatness, man.
Look at that steal by Larry Bird.
Take us out.
Bro, this footage actually look good. They look better than the NBA games. What the? From back then.
Look at that steal by Larry Bird.
Take us out. The league go back down, put us back in.
That's Bird and Johnson.
The show start again.
When you play with Magic, there's just something about it. You want to make that extra pass. You want to get that rebound and start the break.
We came down a couple times. I go behind my back, no look to him. He no look back to me. And I'm laying it up. I'm saying, oh man.
Here's that last play. Magic Johnson going in, drops off the Bird.
Yo, imagine if they actually play together in the NBA. Bro, that would be a crazy dude. They basically the same, and just Bird can shoot.
Back off.
Like, they basically the same player, bro.
Super bad.
This guy got
Low
game.
key.
They had some wonderful moments on the court, but they probably spoke to each other 4, maybe 5 times during that entire time period. And it was more like, hello, how are you this morning, Larry? I'm good, Magic. What'd you have for breakfast? Don't remember. Have a nice day.
But such curtness was hardly strange coming from Larry Bird, who was not only one of college basketball's best players, but also its biggest enigma.
I think he was a mystery to the extent that he wanted to be a mystery. He didn't enjoy doing interviews. He didn't go out of his way to do them. He wasn't particularly good at them. He was kind of like, hey, this is who I am. You want to know who I am? Watch the game. That's who I am.
I start to read materials that you're very quiet and you don't enjoy talking to newspaper people.
Well, you know, there's different kind of newspaper people. There's people that try to push you. You know, there's people try to get things out of you. Things don't even pertain to basketball, and them are the type of people I like to stay away from.
He didn't want people talking about his
Larry's gonna speak his mind. He's gonna let you know I do not want to talk to you.
family.
Bro. Like,
He didn't want his mother to have to deal with that, or his siblings to have to deal with that.
hey,
You got to remember where Larry came from. You know, Larry was raised in a 2 or 3 room house on a railroad track. Their family probably lived on $50 a week. He was raised tough.
I ain't gonna, I would have thought Larry came from the burbs. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't know Larry came from the trenches.
Larry Joe Bird grew up in southern Indiana, the twin towns of French Lick and West Baden. The Valley, as locals call it, was a tough working class area. Tiny and remote, it was one of the poorest places in the state.
I didn't know that people made millions of dollars. I didn't know that everybody had a family car. I was in my own cocoon. I was in a small town with the people I knew, and I thought I would live there for the rest of my life.
Arriving Pearl Harbor Day 1956, Larry was the fourth of 6 kids born to Georgia and Joe Bird. Early on, he and his older brothers earned a reputation around the valley.
We were always considered troublemakers. We're either fighting amongst ourselves or there was always one of us fighting somebody. Larry was always one that kind of instigated things, you know.
If I get my brother in a fight with somebody his age, I was happy as hell because I like to see him get beat up, and that's just the way it was. if I got in a scrape with some kid and my brothers didn't come to my side, they knew that when he got home, my dad was going to whip him.
Larry and my dad were best of friends. They done everything together. When my dad would go out to my grandma's house, Larry would always go with him. They'd go fishing, do a lot of things together.
But Joe Bird also had a darker side, stemming from a traumatic tour of duty in Korea.
Larry remembers waking up in the middle of the night, hearing his father's blood-curdling screams from the nightmares he had had from the war.
And his pops had PTSD. I couldn't imagine your pops wake up in the middle of the night screaming, punching a wall and shit, but that's actually sad.
What happened to his father in the war affected his entire life. He was never able to quite get rid of whatever those demons were.
A talented craftsman, Joe Bird struggled to hold steady jobs. And even when he was working, his demons would, on occasion, drive him to the bottle.
There were times when Joe went out with the guys and had a few beers and the wages didn't come home that night. And that didn't happen every day. It happened once in a while, but when money is as tight as it was for the Birds, once in a while was a major problem for their family.
My mom sometimes worked late, sometimes she had 2 jobs, but that's the way it was. I worked at school during my lunch hours, worked at the local grocery store, put up hay in the summer. I mean, if you wanted money, you had to get it on your own.
To young Larry, actions spoke louder than words.
And Larry really came from the trenches, bro. I would not expect that, bro. I thought bro came from the Birds. See, I mean, that makes sense, bro. You can tell by the way he played, bro, was a dog. So most dogs, they come from that, the trenches, bro. Like,
he was very
from a hard upbringing.
Kind of hung to himself a little bit.
I saw Larry take an F in an English class because he had to get up in front of his peers and give a speech. So I'm gonna do it. He just could not get up in front of his friends and talk. He was that shy.
Of course, next thing you know, when he knew it was time for all of us together at the gymnasium, there he'd be. The minute he'd get a basketball in his hand, things were totally different.
Basketball was just, it came to me, seemed like easy. I didn't have the quickness, I didn't have jumping ability. I just thought the game out.
By his senior year at Springs Valley High, Larry Bird had sprouted into a star. But Bird was from the valley, hardly a hotbed of talent in the big-time world of Indiana hoops.
The first thing they say, well, they don't play nobody down there. He's from French Lick. They don't play nobody.
That's what you love to say, bro. You don't play no comp. I bet you, bro, went to them and gave them 30.
Put a chip on his shoulder, always happened to prove who he was and how good he was.
He was good enough for Indiana University's Bobby Knight to come calling late his senior year. And folks in the valley couldn't have been prouder. Their local hero was heading 60 miles north to play ball for one of the best college teams in the land.
Once I got to IU, it didn't take long to realize that I was out of my cocoon, had over 30-some thousand students, that I didn't have the funds. First week and a half, I thought, man, this ain't gonna work.
He left after 24 days.
Let my mother down. She didn't talk to me for 2 months. But it didn't matter what other people said. To this day, I don't care.
Back in French Lick, Bird took to working for the city, hauling trash and painting park benches. Meanwhile, by that winter, his father's demons had taken him to an even darker place.
By this point, Joe and Georgia were divorced, and he was behind in his payments to the family. The police came by, and of course they all knew him. So Joe said, hey, I need a few hours to get my affairs together before you take me away. So he called Georgia and he said, you guys will be better off without me, and I'm gonna take my life. And he put the phone down and he killed himself, shot himself.
Whoa, I was not expecting that, bro. That's actually sad. Damn. Larry went through a lot, bro. Bro had to come home from college. He didn't have the funds until his pops kill himself, bro. But this is why I got so much respect for Bird, bro. He went through a lot.
When Dad passed, you know, it hurt Larry. I mean, that was his best friend. It's gone now. But Larry didn't show it a lot.
He just didn't say much. You know, he just kind of held it within. I never heard him speak out about it at all.
Who was that?
I was mad when I heard about it, and I was madder after the funeral because I thought he sort of cut out on us during a tough time. You know, he went through a lot in his life. He did what he had to do.
Sad.
If Bill Hodges hadn't been as persistent as he had been, Larry Bird might never have existed in any of our minds. I believe that with all my heart. I really do.
It was Bill Hodges, a young coach from Indiana State University, who convinced Bird to give college hoops another shot. So with a promise to his mom to graduate, Bird headed to Terre Haute and ISU, a school that never so much had been to the NCAA tournament.
Once I started playing, it's the same old thing. You know, he's at a small school and he ain't playing against anybody, which is fine. Still dominated.
Wherever Hoosiers gather, they no longer talk of weather. Indiana has a new state bird. Now his claim to
I love watching like the old college footage of some of these, bro. It just look better than the regular NBA footage from the back then.
is just the way he plays the game.
Like, look what he just did to bro.
It's not the Cardinal now. Hey Larry, take a bow. Indiana has a new state bird.
By the time he had led tiny ISU as a senior to a 33-0 record, a spot in the '79 title game, Larry Bird had become, alongside Magic Johnson, the talk of college basketball. Just a year after sharing the court on Team USA, they were back together. And the day before the big game, Magic couldn't wait to greet his old playmate.
Indiana State was on practicing, and we were waiting in the tunnel. We got there early. I wanted to definitely say hello to Larry, you know. When they came through, it was like nobody would say nothing. I wanted to go toward him, like his guys, like made sure that he didn't say nothing. And then they kind of started snickering, like, Michigan State, you in trouble. We're going to kill you guys tomorrow.
I probably did snub it. I don't remember it, but I'm sure I did. I didn't want any, you know, like I call it love fest, hugging and slapping high fives with opponent. You're there for a reason. You're there to win a game.
That just said it's on now.
It is Indiana State against Michigan State. I'm Bryant Gumbel, and the fans here are going bananas.
I mean, let's face it, if Larry Bird
Well, that's
were
him.
black and came
Hold
from...
on, is that him back in the day? That's crazy.
I mean, let's face it, if Larry Bird were black and came from Chicago, it wouldn't have been as big a deal. They were polar opposites.
Facts.
One black, one white, one outgoing, one shy. That was the charm of the attraction.
The Bird against Magic. All of the superlatives have been used, and believe me, all of them have been warranted.
Heading into the tournament, Magic was the bigger star. But by tip-off, it was Bird, having hardly missed a shot in the semifinal, who would become the focus of fans, and more importantly, of Michigan State.
We actually had two men on Larry everywhere he went.
They doubling, bro.
I'm surprised they didn't play a box on one. You know, 4 guys on Larry and 1 on the other 4, because they didn't have a lot of talent. You know, if you stop Larry, you pretty much stop them.
Look at the pressure around him. 2, 3 men, and he's
Hey, there's nothing Bird can do.
Play well at all. Biggest game of my life, didn't play well.
I think our length and our size, our jumping ability was able to bother him.
They didn't shoot well. Missed, I think, 3 free throws.
Larry Bird has had a cold shooting night.
I ain't never know Larry Bird had a moment like this, but I mean, he was young, so you see what he did when he got to the NBA. Bro became one of the clutchest players ever, so this is just a turning point for him, I guess.
I battled him, but have it.
Oh my God. Nah, Magic just got a body. What the? Hold on, bro.
Champions, 1979. Magic, not only were you leader on offense, I thought you did a great job on Larry Bird in the zone denying him the ball.
Yes, Coach gave us a good game plan to go against Larry Bird, and all we had to do was go out and do it. That's what we done.
Congratulations, Super Bowl game.
Magic, that was a humble interview though. He could have bragged and said he was better, but bro showed his class.
It was over, you know. That was my 4 years. It was done. No, it still hurts. When you win 33 in a row and you walk into a game, you know, you never know what to expect. But I expect to win. We didn't win. Toughest loss I ever took.
I knew it was going to haunt him forever because we were going to see each other a lot.
The National Basketball Association, in its 33rd season, is troubled by diminishing crowds and declining television ratings, signs that fan interest may be waning.
If college basketball was flourishing at the end of the 1970s, the pro game was crumbling. After the
college basketball was really getting more views than the finals.
Golden era of Bill Russell and Jerry West in the 1960s, a merger with the ABA in 1976, had led not only to new teams, but a new temperament.
It was a new league with new times, with renegades, individuals.
Nah, why he just beat bro like that?
New times.
What the? Is that Daryl Dawkins? No, that's not. Bro, who is this knocking somebody out?
With individuals.
There was an argument made, plausibly, I think, that it was too black a league for the United States of America in the late 1970s.
You think about the Knickerbockers at the time. The running joke was it was the Knickerbockers. You know, that's what it was. It was the N-word.
It's turning off a lot of white customers that are coming to the game, you know?
That's facts. That's actually sad though, bro. Like, the NBA rate was dropping just because it was more black people who were starting to integrate the league. That's sad, bro.
Why? I think there's a conflict between the white and the black, and I don't enjoy going to basketball and seeing all black players. I mean, I think it's...
What did you just say?
I don't enjoy going to basketball and seeing all black players. I mean, I think when they said too black, they meant not just in terms of color, but in terms of style. Let me get mine, and the hell with yours.
Basketball for us was about the best moves. You wanted to be that big player that everybody talked about.
That's facts.
You wanted to be the one.
White players more fundamentals. Black people, they was, trying to dunk on somebody, trying to show off, be flashy. I get it, but still.
Think about winning championships or team play.
And those were just the issues on the court.
The NBA had this image of an all-black league with a bunch of guys who did drugs. Teams were losing money, and they had no sponsors. And that's pretty much a death knell right there.
It's a known fact that you need your white superstars. You just need more white ball players on the team for the white fans to identify with.
And in the newest member of the Boston Celtics, that's exactly what the league appeared to be getting.
There's hope he can help solve professional basketball's difficulties, which some say are compounded by a question of black and white.
The great white hope. What does that mean?
Well, it's very hard to say because there's a lot of great white players around, and I just hope that I can just fit in as well as some of them has fit in.
He ran away from that designation. He made it very clear, almost from day one, that he was not the great white hope.
The great players are the black players, and they're the best.
Such deference meant little.
Hey, I respect Larry for that, bro. now I got even more respect for Larry Bird. I ain't gonna lie. Bird really said that. He could have went with it saying, yeah, I'm gonna save basketball. He could have been a racist, but bro was up, bro.
Black Celtics
I like that, bro.
Curtis Rowe, Sidney
That showed great
Wicks,
character.
and Cedric Maxwell, who looked at Bird and saw not the great white hope, but another case of great white hype.
He didn't impress me no more than any white guy I've ever seen play before. I think that you would say that most black players at the time were racist, in the sense that
yeah, it do
we
go
did
both
not
ways.
think that you could find a white guy who could play better than any black guy.
When I walk in the first day
I mean,
camp,
that's literally how we still think today, bro.
them guys were on the floor stretching, and here comes the white savior, here comes this, here comes that. I sort of enjoyed it because I knew I was going to battle them all day. But Curtis and Sidney didn't last long. They didn't even make it through the first practice. They were cut. So then it was just Cedric.
I'm thinking, oh, he's slow, he can't get off a shot. He's not that strong. This is gonna be a layup. Bam, knocks down the jump shot. Maybe that was luck. Gets the ball again. Bam, knocks down another jump shot. Now I'm thinking like, okay, hey, you know what? I'm gonna D this guy up. I'm gonna show him his life. 20 feet away. Bam, 25 feet away. Bam. My mind just goes to that. Damn, this white guy can play.
It was a good thing, too. The storied Celtics might have been the winningest team in NBA history, but they were fresh off their worst season in 30 years. And in Bird, they had a player who was not only supremely talented, but tough enough to take on any challenge.
I always played like everybody in the world was against me. Well, everybody was against me. You should think up things.
Oh, that's that. I never seen that full clip of Bird that when Dr. J was just punching Bird in his face. My first time seeing that full clip. I seen his choke before. I seen that picture, but I didn't know that came from this moment.
Well, everybody was against me. You should think up things to get me rattled before a game.
Nah, Bird was a Bird was a demon, bro. What the fuck?
Against me. You should think up things.
Nah, he just mushed, bro, and started punching him.
He knew how to fight. I know that from off the floor. One night, somebody was giving one of his buddies a hard time, and Larry went over and, said, hey, this is my friend, and this guy was a pretty good-sized guy. By golly, they go out back, and the guy turns and says something to Larry. Larry hit this guy, and I caught him. Hit him so hard, I go, whoa. He was from the old school, and that's how he played.
Larry Bird plays it to the hill.
I see that dog, bro. Larry had that in him, bro.
Played rough.
Like this is probably the craziest picture in NBA history, bro. Like they were choking each other out. How tall is Dr. J? Like Bird had like 3 inches on him.
No frills about him. He came in, he threw elbows.
Kurt
There was
Rambis,
nothing smooth about Larry. New Englanders like that. They're hardworking people. They like that's how people view them, and that's what Larry was.
Larry Bird. His own shot.
That's easy.
They also like winners. When Bird led the Celtics to the NBA championship in just his second season, he was finally...
Y'all tell me about this too. Y'all said the Celtics went from like their worst season ever to Bird to 2 years later, Bird's second year, he getting them a chip. Hey, that's greatness, bro.
One of those two.
Bird's a winner. And he got like the second highest win percentage of all time behind Magic Johnson. 2 most winningest players ever.
Austin loved Larry Bird. It just wasn't so clear at first how much Bird loved the city back.
There's only one place I'd rather be, French Lick. Thank you.
Man, Larry was almost agoraphobic in his treatment of anything outside his hometown.
He wanted to be the Wizard of Oz. He wanted to intimidate people and keep them at bay. The further we are away from each other, the more I like it.
I had a nice little house. I had my little yard. I want to go from there to practice back. If I had a game coming up, I want to go there, game and back home. It was all basketball. My whole life was basketball.
If he was just sitting there with just me, you were looking around mumbling, trying to find things that we had in common that we could talk about. Now we start talking about basketball, start talking about players. It was, it was great. U.S. history, No.
You know, we forced passes, we made errors down the stretch.
Daily events? No.
I made the shot, and from then on we was up by 2, and they had to get back in the game, which they did.
Politics? No.
Try to not do anything I can't do. Or do
Hey, Bird was strictly. I like that, bro. He's strictly talking about basketball, bro. Why do we try to make basketball politics, bro? Like, I don't like that, bro. I like Bird didn't like it either.
He proudly dubbed himself the Hick from French Lick.
The Hick.
He looked every bit the part. But those who played him for simple did so at their own peril.
One of the great ways, I think, of winding up with no money in your pocket is to think Larry Bird is dumb. Syntax is not intelligence. Unlettered is not stupid.
He's got a great sense of humor. He just didn't show that to people. That didn't mean he didn't have it.
He did, however, allow the public one small indulgence.
You could come out on Saturday and watch him mow his lawn.
Huge crowds toward the stop. Larry Bird's cutting grass in front of his house.
Hey, bro, that's why I can't. That's another reason why I can't be famous, bro. I can't imagine cutting grass and then I got people outside watching me cutting my grass, bro. Like, I can't be like that famous to the point where I need
Larry is about
security.
Things himself, and I think it's one of the things that
Can't
made
do it.
him so beloved in Boston.
But as Bird navigated through his new world, he still had one eye fixed on a familiar foe in a faraway land.
All right, well, this is where we gonna stop for part 1, bro. We're gonna be back for part 2 soon, man. So be on the lookout for that. It's definitely a good documentary so far, bro. I cannot wait to finish it, bro. I had to learn so much new information, bro. Thank y'all for telling me to watch this, bro. Y'all been giving me some good recommendations, bro. I'm gonna keep reacting to what y'all want me to watch, man. If y'all enjoyed the part 1, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, man. And part 2 dropping soon, man. I'm out.
Proof. You gon' keep on fucking around till we fuck around and come through. I had to switch my flows up. Ain't got enough no bum bitch who can't even switch they pose up. Who you think you playin'?